I want to ask you a question. Are you an academic and you're finding yourself in the lab or doing research in the library past 9, 10 p.m. on a weekday? Or do you find yourself with no time on the weekend to do anything social because you are literally there in the library working all throughout Saturday and Sunday? If that's the case, then I would argue that there are some things that you could possibly do to make your working habits more efficient and to be able to use your time more productively, to work smarter and not harder. There are some small habits that only take a few minutes that meant that I never worked on weekends or during the evenings at all during my PhD, which I know is completely unheard of. But these are some things that you can just implement in your life that are small changes that are consistent, but that can make a big impact on how much time you're spending outside of the required hours. The first is to use templates and checklists for everything. They really streamline your work and they ensure consistency and they just save you time over the long run. So for example, in the liquid nitrogen tank, I would have a number of different samples, like literally hundreds, that was made during my PhD over the past couple of years. So I had like a really nice diagram, a template in my lab book where I'd write down the exact location, what the sample is, the date and everything. And because I had this system that I was using throughout in everything that I did, it just meant that when it came to looking for things, or even when it came to like handing over my work at the end of my PhD, I could literally just hand over that template and they could work from that, as opposed to having to spend hours or weeks doing all of that databasing at the end. One of the most time-consuming tasks as a researcher is reading and understanding research papers. We spend days, weeks, months reading research papers, and if there was a way to make that easier, then that is a great thing to be able to adopt into your routine. I quickly developed very good skim reading, scanning and note-taking techniques, so I was able to read a research paper, very quickly extract that information and save that information somewhere so I can very easily locate it when I needed to write my thesis. But now there are excellent AI tools that can help you do that more efficiently. So for example, Unriddle is an AI tool that helps you read, write and learn faster. So you can also interact with your documents, so your research papers, upload them onto the platform, and you can ask the AI assistant for questions so you can very quickly find and understand information. First, you need to upload the research papers in PDF format, and here I've just done 6, but you can upload a lot more and really build a library and categorize them in different groups. And I've asked a question because I just want to understand what an antibody is and why there are so many different ones. And this will give me a good background without actually having to read into the paper into much depth to begin with, and this will save me so much time and give me that background information that I need. And it also gives me the sources and the exact location for where this information is coming from, so I can very easily navigate to this. In this paper, I've asked what the key results are, and again, I think this is a great way of quickly gaining an oversight of what the research paper is speaking about and some more information about sort of future work, limitations. Whilst this is something that traditionally would take you hours and hours to do, when you have AI tools like Unriddle, this is just helping you work smarter, not harder. Now, this is what completely changed the game. So you can actually start a brand new note and you can read and interrogate using the AI assistant and write at the same time. So here what I'm doing is I'm picking out information from the research papers and from the questions that I'm asking Unriddle, and I'm writing it in a bit of a draft. You can even generate some new information that's based off of the research papers that you have uploaded on the platform by using the double plus sign, and this generates some writing for you. And of course, this is just building an outline and building some bits of text that you are able to get inspired from and use as information to then build your own essay when you come to write it in whole. And here I can see that all the information is relevant, it's all from the text, it isn't made up, and it's all part of your writing and reading and understanding process. You can also manipulate your account a little bit, so you can change the model that you're using, the temperature, the length. The length is referring to sort of how much text you want in terms of the output when you're asking the AI tool the questions, so you can really change how much information you're getting based off of this. And last but not least, you're even able to enhance your text that you've written by improving the writing, expanding it, summarizing it, or paraphrasing it. And this again saves you so much time, makes you write better, and helps you write more efficiently. And actually, Unriddle has a free plan where you can chat with the documents and create up to 10 notes. Or for just $20 a month, you can have unlimited chat messages and up to 150 notes. So it's a great resource. And as you can see, it can really help you act like your research assistant and someone that can help and guide you through understanding research papers better. I cannot remember the last time I actually wrote a reference in full manually. I've never done it. Everything can be done automated if you start with an automated system. There are so many referencing tools that allow you to automate the whole bibliography generation system. So from the point where you save your research paper into a library, you insert it into your document and you generate a bibliography, or you can change the formatting. I have always used Mendeley. I've used it for the past 10 years or more. Ever since I started my master's, I've been using Mendeley and I really love it. I love how automated it is. I love that if you delete a reference, it automatically deletes it. And there really is no reason why anybody should be spending more than 5 minutes on references. This is a huge game changer. As academics, we tend not to have any deadlines apart from the last deadline when we need to submit our thesis or when our funding runs out. So what can easily happen is you can go 2-3 months down the line without really having completed much or really achieved anything, just because you've been working towards something but not quite having set deadlines and kind of goals and expectations. So what I really like to do, and I did this a lot during my PhD, was to set my own kind of deadlines and my own expectations. It really helped with guiding timelines and providing priorities for me, and I shared those deadlines with my supervisor and I said, look, by this day I will be done with this project, or I will have completed X number of things, or I will present to you with this document or this bit of reading, and that really helps with getting yourself on track. Setting deadlines can only take 5 minutes, but what it does is it gives you a way to plan, it gives you a way to be more structured. And as a result, you can really allocate specific time to how to achieve that goal, but also you have enough time to go in and do your own personal, social things around it, because you know what your set goal is, you know what that schedule looks like, and you can work towards that. This truly makes an incredible difference in your productivity. Okay, last but definitely not least is task batching. One of the things that I've always done and I continue to do is batch tasks. So that means, for example, you can do look at your email at one time of the day in the morning and kind of respond to all of your emails. That's done in the morning and you don't come back to it until maybe a set time in the middle of the day. What happens when you're jumping between tasks is you actually reduce productivity because you have to spend a bit more time to get back to that focus point. So every time you're jumping from one task to another, you're reducing how much time you've actually spent within that task. And this is called context switching. It's when you're switching from one thing that you're doing to a completely different thing. It's a no-go. I would spend the morning doing research reading and reading my papers and kind of understanding, and that's the only thing I would do. Then in the afternoon, I'd focus on maybe dealing with my cells and doing like microscopy work and things like that. Or the next day, I'll spend the whole day doing microscopy, and then the day after that, I'll do an analysis. I wouldn't be analysing as I'm doing microscopy, because whilst you might feel like you're being more productive and it might seem like you're being more productive, you're actually not fully in either one of those tasks. And I think people don't quite understand how much of a difference that can make in overall productivity. The way that habit building works is accumulation of small but consistent regular habits makes a much bigger difference than trying to implement a really big habit and not being consistent with it. I hope this video was helpful in trying to identify some ways and some things that you can do to help you be a bit more productive during your research and during your PhD. I'll leave a link in my description down below to check out Unriddle. Like I said, they do have a free plan that you can go and try out if you want to just test it out for yourself. And let me know how you find it if you do. And if you have any tips for things that you do that make you a little bit more productive during your week, small tasks that make that bit of a difference, then again, let me know. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe. I'm so close to 300,000. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.